Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about what February is going to bring to each and every one of us. It's horoscope time once again. First of all, to those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. This is Written in the Stars by Rux, and this is where we talk about all things astrology related. However, before I jump into dissecting February for all of you, I would like to let you know that I've also created a Facebook group. If you have additional questions, if you want to start discussions around all astrology topics out there, please join my Facebook group because I've left a link in the description box down below. Don't be shy, start conversations, ask the questions that you've always meant to ask an astrologer, and I kid you not, we have such an amazing community out there, and everyone chimes in, and most people who are part of the community are there to learn, but also to share the knowledge that they have around astrology already. Plus, it's also fun. So, shameless plug, moving on to February. Now, before we commence, I would like to ask you if you know what your rising sign is. So, first of all, we've got the sun sign, which most of you know because it's based on your date of birth, and it's the sign that is basically known by everyone out there. Everyone knows if they're like an Aries or a Leo or an Aquarius. I would like you to also find out what your rising sign is and listen for February to both signs. So if, let's say, you are an Aries sun sign, listen to the Aries horoscope. But if you also know what your rising sign is, let's say it's Libra, then also listen to the Libra part in what I'm about to share with you. Now that's out of the way, let us begin. So, eclipse season is behind us. January has been intense, to say the least. February is going to be a lot friendlier, at least that's how I see it, because a lot of the planets are going to move around. There's going to be a lot of fire and air energy up in the air, and we're gonna feel a bit more optimistic and a bit more positive after January, when we've had to work a lot, we've had to let go of some people or some circumstances that were pre-existing in our lives. And it hasn't been easy. The fact that it's winter in the northern hemisphere hasn't helped either, but let's not focus on January anymore. Let's talk about February. So we've got a few key dates in February for you to keep in mind, for all of you. If you've got a calendar, circle the 3rd of February when Venus enters Capricorn. Also circle the 4th of February when we've got a new moon in Aquarius. We are in Aquarius season right now as we speak. On the 18th of February, we've got the sun entering Pisces, so we're going to be entering Pisces season. On the 14th of February, Mars is changing signs. It's moving from Aries onto Taurus, and there's also a few days in between that I would like you to circle that are super lucky and that are likely to bring unexpected but pleasant surprises with them. So, one of those would be February the 8th, when we've got the sun in Aquarius sextiling Jupiter in Sagittarius. And FYI, a sextile is a very harmonious aspect in astrology. It's an aspect of collaboration. It's an aspect that combines nicely and collaboratively the energies of two planets. And we've also got Jupiter involved. And whenever Jupiter is involved, we feel like our sense of optimism is just going through the roof. We feel much more motivated. We feel much more positive about what life is gonna throw our way. So all in all, a really, really good day. But let us begin with the zodiac signs, because I know that's what you're here for. So I'm gonna add timestamps to the video. My dear Aries, let's begin with you as per usual. So on the 3rd of February, Venus is moving into Capricorn, and it is entering your career sector. So Venus is called the little benefic because it is a planet that brings with it benefits in general. It brings with it pleasure. It brings with it money. It's one of the planets that governs money. And you are very, very likely to see either like an influx of money coming your way career-wise. Either you are going to be very well seen by bosses in general and by people who have authority, the authority figures in your life. This is also a fantastic time. Let me tell you this. February is a great month, and from the 3rd of February onwards, if you're an Aries, this is a great month to ask for a promotion. It is also a very good time to put yourself out there, and I mean, I know you're an Aries and you don't tend to like hold yourself back that often. Let's be frank, you are the most direct sign of the Zodiac. It's like in your face, everyone else. But during the course of February, people who have power and people who have authority are likely going to appreciate your boldness, your directness. They are going to appreciate who you are. So it's very good to get exposure in front of those people if you can. It's also a good time to like attend an interview, like I said, ask for promotion, ask for a raise. And it's also a good time to go out and network and mingle because you might just bump into someone who is going to propel your next career move, because Venus, after all, is also a planet that governs relationships. So who knows who you are going to meet. Now, on the 4th of February, we have a 17-star day. So I was about to say 5, then I thought 7, then I'm like, no, 17-star day. Don't ask me why 17. But basically, we've got a new moon in Aquarius falling into your house of dreams, objectives, and groups of people. I was about to say community, but I feel like it's a lot bigger than that because this new moon is going to fall in your 11th house, and it will feel like you've found your people. It will feel like you are well embraced and well accepted by the community that you are a part of. It will feel like you are surrounded by friends, and you'll gain this sense of like optimism and a belonging to something. It's also a fantastic time to manifest your ideals and your objectives and your plans for the long run. So this would be the new moon on the 4th would be the best time that you could ever possibly choose throughout 2019, and I'm not kidding you. What you initiate now when it comes to fulfilling your dreams and fulfilling your objectives is likely going to impact the rest of your year. So this is a time to set new intentions. This is a time to kick off new projects. This is a time to reevaluate your intentions. This is a time to go out and find your people. And this is also a time to speak up, because Aquarius is a sign that speaks up, and it is a sign that is focused on the greater good and on how we can all work together and how we can all collaborate and how we can all do something for the betterment of everyone, not just for ourselves. So all in all, it's the 4th of February. It's probably your best day in February and arguably one of your best days throughout 2019. So now we've also got a few more things happening throughout February. The beginning of the month is super full on, as you've heard, but everything works in your favor, if I may say so, my dear Aries. Now, on the 14th of February, you've got Mars entering your 2nd house of earned income, values, and money, and what other people value about you. Now, again, this plays back to what I've said, people in authority appreciating how you act, who you are, your honesty, the fact that you are very matter-of-fact, very direct, very swift, very quick on your feet, and what they see is what they get with you. The 2nd house is the house of what other people value about you, and with Mars in your 2nd house, you'll also start appreciating these things that I've just mentioned more about yourself. Now, February is also a fantastic month to focus on bolstering your finances. This is a month to hustle. From the 14th of February onwards, start hustling. Start making moves when it comes to attracting income and working for that income and spending time and energy and effort that will not go unrewarded, if I may say so. So all the efforts that you are making in the direction of finances and personal income is very likely going to be well rewarded. So focus on that, my dear Aries. Now, on the 18th of February, we've got the sun entering Pisces. So it moves from Aquarius, from your 11th house of friendships and dreams and ideals and objectives, into your 12th house. So towards the end of the month, I would say you're likely going to be a bit more, shall we say, a bit more tired, or maybe not even like physically tired, but you might feel like you need to retreat for a bit longer. You might feel like you need to spend a bit of time looking inwards, possibly isolating yourself for a few days, and possibly also recuperating from all of the hard work that you've put in throughout the rest of the month. So I would say give yourself a bit of time and a few days to like rest and recover, because as an Aries, you are always in the danger of burning yourself out, as you want to keep on pushing yourself and you want to keep on moving forward. But you're only human like the rest of us. We're also having, around the same dates, we've got Mercury in Pisces, we've got Neptune in Pisces. Neptune has been in Pisces for ages and is going to continue to be there for ages. So there's basically a bit of a gathering happening in your 12th house. The 12th house is also the house of spirituality. So for the rest of the month, from the 18th onwards, you might go through a period when you feel like meditating a little bit, maybe reassessing all the energy that you put out into the world. But all in all, it will also feel like the time that you are taking for yourself is actually helping you in the long run. We've got Saturn and Capricorn in your 10th house of career, and sometimes it helps to take a step back and look at things from the inside outwards rather than just like reacting to all the external stimuli. Now, why am I bringing up Saturn in Capricorn? Because all this looking inwards and this retreat and looking after yourself is going to have a very positive impact if you do take the time to acknowledge what the transits are about. It's very likely going to have a positive impact on your career and on your professional status. Now, let's move on to Taurus. Hello, my dear Taurians. So we've got a full-on month for you. First of all, if I may say, on the 3rd of February, we've got Venus entering Capricorn. Now, that for you, my dear Taurians, is going to play very, very nicely, because Capricorn is a sign that is trining Taurus, and it works, the energies of Taurus and Capricorn blend very, very easily together. Let's call it that way. Therefore, you are likely going to feel the impact of Venus in Capricorn to be very beneficial and to go rather smoothly with what you have planned for the rest of February. Now, let us see which house Venus in Capricorn is gonna fall in for you. So it is going to be the 9th house. It's going to be the 9th house of exploration, long distance travel, the house that makes us broaden our horizons and expand what we believe in and what we've learned and how we look at the world. It is also the house that governs society at large. So let me tell you this. My dear Taurians, if you've got any travel planned for February, it is likely going to go very, very well, and it's likely going to be very enjoyable. It might also be a time when you receive an impulse to learn more, to study more, and to broaden your mindset. It's also a fantastic time to get out there and to mingle with people and to put yourself out in the midst of society at large, because as Taurians, you tend to like crack on with things and just like plod along because you're very hardworking, you're very pragmatic, and that's what you care about in general. But this is a time to elevate yourself to a more like mental level and look at things differently, start like pulling ideas out of other people, listen to what other people have to say, maybe experience something new. Like I said, going to a different country, traveling is likely going to have a positive impact upon you. It's going to relax you. It's going to bode very, very well with who you are. Now, on the 4th of February, we have a new moon in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius, for you, my dear Taurians, rules your 10th house of career and status and public reputation, and this new moon is receiving positive beams from all sides, if I may just say so. It's receiving positive beams from Jupiter, it's receiving positive beams from Mars. This is the time, this is the month, my dear my dear Taurians. Still thinking about Venus and Capricorn. This is the month when you are likely going to get that well-deserved recognition career-wise. This is also a month when you are very likely to be offered a position of prestige. It is a month when you are very likely going to reap the rewards of all the hard work that you've put in throughout your life. And if you've been thinking, because I know Taurians are fixed signs just like myself, I'm an Aquarius, and we are creatures of habit, and we sometimes tend to like stick around for way longer than it's necessary or for way longer than it's needed rather than push ourselves forward. This is a fantastic time for you to go out interviewing. It is a time when you're very likely going to be received with open arms by whatever employer you go out to. And it is also very likely that whatever you do is going to have the spotlight put on it. So that can be like a source of satisfaction, but it could also be a source of like anxiety for some people. However, fret not. There is nothing for you to be anxious about. There is nothing for you to worry about. Everything that you do is going to be virtually applauded by everyone. You're also likely to see an influx of money coming your way because you've got Jupiter in your 8th house of other people's money and resources, aspecting your new moon in the 10th house. It is a fantastic time to ask for a mortgage, ask for a remortgage, maybe ask for a loan, ask for an investment, because you're likely going to receive it. And throughout the entire month, you're probably going to see gifts from other people pouring your way. Don't say I didn't warn you. Now, on the 14th of February, Mars enters Taurus. Mars has been, for the past month and a half, in your 12th house, which may have made you feel a little bit on the lazy side, a little bit tired, a little bit exhausted, a little bit fed up with the world. That is over after the 14th of February. It is the time for you to start pushing forward. You've rested, you've looked inwards, you've reassessed your service, the service that you give to other people. You've probably reassessed how much you're willing to sacrifice and what you're willing to sacrifice and what you're willing to give away. I'm talking about your personal like resources, but also your time, your physical energy. from the 14th of February onwards, you're gonna get like a surge of energy flowing through your veins, and you're going to be a lot more competitive, a lot more combative, a lot more driven, a lot more motivated, and people might be like, whoa, hold on a second. What is going on with this person? You're driven. You know what you want, and you're gonna go after it. Be bold. Go after it, my dear Taurus. Now, last but not least, we've also got on the 19th of February a full moon in Virgo. That is happening for you, my dear Taurians, in the 5th house of true love, romantic love. And full moons, as you probably know, represent culminations. They represent almost like the peak of a phase, the peak of a chapter. So prepare yourself for the peak of a chapter in your love life. It might feel like, if you're single, that you are meeting someone who is fated to be with you. It might also manifest itself through some sort of like revelation, and you all of a sudden know what you want. It might also manifest itself through, oh my God, now I know what I don't want. Now I know that I should pursue that person or the other person. It is a great time for you to go out, have fun, meet someone new, or get rid of someone who's been in your life for way too long and their stay is overdue. But if I may say so, it is very likely. So the evening, the day, and the 2 days before and after it are very likely going to manifest in a very pleasant way for the senses in particular. It's a great time to get physical because we've got Mars making a beautiful aspect with the full moon, and Mars, as we know, governs passion and sex. So do get physical. You're going to enjoy it, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Now let's move on to Gemini, my lovely Geminis. So we've got an airy month to start with. February is going to be full of like air from all these planets in Aquarius, and this is going to be great for you because your energy blends very easily with the energy of Aquarians in general. We've got on the 4th of February a new moon in Aquarius happening in your 9th house of higher education, long distance travel, exploration, personal beliefs, religion, philosophy of life. It is very likely that your entire system of reference and the things that you believe in will be renewed, and they will be almost resurrected in a way. It feels like all the things that you've been learning and reading about are ultimately coming together, and you're receiving a new lease of life when it comes to your life philosophy. As a Gemini, you are prone to overanalyzing things and dissecting things and approaching life from a very logical standpoint. However, the 9th house is the house of intuition. It is a house that keeps on wanting us to push our boundaries, and the way we push our boundaries is by following this intuitive thread that tells us we should go in that direction, we should go in the other direction. It might feel like all of a sudden things make sense and you see the bigger picture, which sometimes for you Geminis can be quite hard because you are very much focused on the details and on bringing order to chaos and bringing all this disparate information together, and that can interfere with you seeing the bigger picture. Well, on the 4th of February, you're very likely going to see the bigger picture. That might manifest itself on a day-to-day basis through a trip, but it can also manifest itself through a renewed desire to learn things, to study, to travel, and also through meeting someone who can be a mentor for you. I wanted to say a spiritual mentor. It can be a spiritual mentor, but it can also be someone who you've got loads to learn from. Now, on the 3rd of February, a day before, I told you the beginning of the month is like doing really good things for all of us. We've got Venus moving into your house of gifts and other people's money, and also the house of sex. So for the entire duration of February, I would say you are very likely going to enjoy your sex life more than you've enjoyed it in the past almost year, I should say. It is also very likely that you might be receiving gifts from other people because you keep on attracting them. But only for the duration of February. So not like Taurus, who's got like stronger support in that area for the rest of the year. From Jupiter, because Jupiter spends up to a year into a sign, whereas Venus spends a lot less. My dear Gemini, around the full moon that is happening on the 19th of February, this is happening in Virgo, in your 4th house of home and family. It would be great if you could spend time with your family, spend time looking back to your past possibly and trying to make sense of things. It is also a time, and you might feel like not going out into the world, and on the contrary, just retreating from the maddening crowd, which is completely unlike you, because you have a very strong need for socializing, a very strong need for being surrounded by people. But do give yourself a bit of time to reflect, to retreat, and just spend time with people who are close to you, because sometimes you want to give so much of yourself to others and collect everything that they have to offer, like knowledge-wise, information-wise, and keep your mind stimulated, that it might be hard for you to actually connect back with the ones that are the closest to you. So the 19th of February would be a fantastic day to do that. It is also, because it's a full moon, it's a culmination, so it might be that around this date, a few days before or a few days after, things regarding your living situation or a family matter ultimately come to a close, and it will have happened after you've put a lot of energy into manifesting this end result. The end result is likely going to be pleasing for you, but it might also bring news of the fact that you do have a bit more effort to expend in this direction. Now, moving on to Cancer, my dear Cancerians. The beginning of the month, I would say, so apart from Venus moving into Capricorn, which is no small feat for you, Capricorn is your 7th house of partnership, marriage, committed relationships. If you are a Cancer rising or a Cancer sun, you might feel the need to focus a lot more on the relationship with your significant other and give them the attention that they deserve, and suddenly feel like this surge in affection and love towards them, and time that you spend with them and activities that you start with them are going to be a lot more pleasant than they have been possibly lately, ever since Saturn entered Capricorn, which can make things a little bit harder on couples till the end of 2020, December 2020. So it's a fantastic month to rekindle that spark and look after your partner's senses, I would say, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So we've got that on the 3rd of February. Then we've got a new moon in Aquarius. And Aquarius is an air sign, and it doesn't necessarily blend well with water. I would say not so much, especially since Aquarius governs your 8th house of crisis, but also the house of other people's money, resources that come your way from other people, inheritances, death and rebirth, sex. We've got a new moon in your sex sector, so new moons are beginnings. New moons bring with them a new lease of life. And if I may just say, and this is likely going to be music to your ears, my dear Cancerians, you are receiving beautiful beams from the planet of passion, Mars, and you're also receiving beautiful beams from Jupiter. So we've got passion, we've got the house of sex, we've got Jupiter, which brings abundance. I mean, it can only mean one thing. either abundance of sex, either abundance of money coming your way from other people. One way to manifest this would be to affirm things such as the universe is looking after me, I'm taken care of financially, I am taken care of from a sexual point of view, so my sex life is super healthy and is doing really well. It's also a good time to try out new things, and again, use your imagination, my dear Cancerians. So all in all, even though the energy does not necessarily blend well with water, I would say this new moon is likely going to bring very, very pleasant new beginnings and very pleasant surprises your way. Now, we've also got on the 14th, on the 14th of February, we've got Mars changing signs from Aries, moving on to Taurus. And this energy you're gonna like. When Mars was in Aries, it was in your 10th house of career, in your professional sector, and it might have brought about bosses that were like either super demanding or maybe a little bit on the aggressive side, or maybe they were like prone to like yelling, or maybe they were a bit like a bull in a china shop, and it just didn't go well with your empathetic nature, my dear Cancer. But now that Mars is moving into your 11th house of friends and friendships and ideals and goals, you're going to love this time. Let me just tell you this. You're likely gonna try to spend a lot more time with your friends. You are likely gonna see your social life I'm looking for a word. You're likely gonna see your social life rise. Sorry guys, sometimes I just forget how to speak English and I do these things with my hands. Thank God I have my hands. It's a good time to be surrounded by friends. It's a good time to be surrounded by those who share your ideals and your interests. And it's a good time to go out and have fun. Now we've also got a full moon on the 19th of February happening in Virgo. Virgo is a sign that sextiles Cancer, so you are likely going to enjoy what this full moon is going to bring. This is happening in your 3rd house of communication, siblings, and learning. So it might feel like a learning process that you've been going through comes to an end, finally culminates. This is something that you might have been going through for the entire duration of 2018, and this is finally the moment when everything is coming together. Hallelujah. It will feel like you've reached a level of knowledge and understanding that you are comfortable with, you are happy with, and you're also gonna see your limitations, and you're gonna know what it is that you need to learn moving forward. But this is a time to like give yourself a pat on the back and say, I've done well, I've learned a lot, now I know things that I didn't know before. It's gonna help me tremendously in a practical way, in a very pragmatic way, and it is also very likely to help you work-wise on a day-to-day basis. Now let us move on to Leo. My dear Leonine friends, so do listen to this if you are a Leo sun or a Leo rising sign. I feel the need to jump to the 4th of February when we have a new moon in Aquarius happening in your 7th house of committed relationships, partnerships, long-term partnerships, be them love partnerships or business partnerships. But ultimately, this month is about partnership, and this month is about manifesting what it is that you want from a long-term partner, what it is that you expect to receive from them. This is the time to be honest and put your intentions out there and put your cards on the table, and do be as honest as possible, not just with the other person, but also with yourself. Aquarius, as your opposing sign, and basically as the sign that governs your seventh house and the people that you enter into relationships with and what you project onto others. Aquarius is a sign that governs the truth, and the truth is more important to Aquarians, and to Aquarius in its essence, it's more important than anything else. So think of this new moon as an opportunity to be as truthful as possible and to acknowledge the things, even to yourself, that you might have been afraid to acknowledge. Now, the good news, because I've kept on banging on about how great this new moon is and how proud I am that it's happening in my sign. The good news is that this new moon is receiving beautiful beams from Mars and Jupiter. It might feel like you finally met your soulmate. I don't want to drum this up and I don't want to play it up more than necessary, but for you, my dear Leos, it will feel like you've finally come to a very good place relationship-wise. If you're single, like I said, go out there, think carefully who you've got around you, look around, because that might just be your soulmate. If you are committed, then your relationship is gonna get like a new lease of life from this new moon. So again, very, very important and very beneficial. And everything is like surrounded by this halo of positivity and optimism. So enjoy this, my dear Leos. Now, on the 19th of February, we've got a full moon in Virgo, which is your second house of earned income, of the money that you make, of the money that you have to work for. But it's also the house of values and the house of things that other people appreciate about you. Full moons obviously bring things to a culmination. It might be that finally a project that you've been working for, and especially work related, sees an end, and the end is something that's likely gonna bring you financial rewards, because let's not forget Mars is in a beautiful aspect with the full moon, and Mars tends to reward us for our efforts. But it is also very possible that you are going to learn of the new string of activities that you need to get yourself involved in, or begin, basically, in order to move this project on to the next phase. So do with that as you wish. Now, I've got a few more dates for you to keep in mind. The first one that I would like you to circle in your calendar is the 3rd of January, when Venus moves into Capricorn for the rest of the month, and it will feel like your work life is finally receiving the good luck that you've been earning for. You're likely gonna feel very much at ease when you go to work. You're gonna get well with your colleagues. You're going to receive favors from your peers. And for those of you who are like freelancers or working for themselves, who are entrepreneurs, a lot of new projects might come your way, or like requests for work may come your way, because Venus is also a planet that governs money, and all this new work is going to translate into money. Now, last but not least, on the 18th of February, we've got the Sun moving into Pisces, which is a more hidden part of your chart. It's going to shine a light, let's say, on your 8th house, the house of secrets, the house of taboos, the house of sex, the house of death and rebirth, the house of crisis. You won't be able to escape the things that you've been avoiding for the past year, secrets-wise, crisis-wise, sex-wise. The Sun moving into this sector of your chart might actually draw your attention after the 18th of February to the things that you've been trying to push under the rug. Because you as a Leo, you're a very positive sign. You're very optimistic. You tend to see like the glass half full, not half empty. And the things that just don't go well with your buoyant nature, you can tend to just like disregard them. Well, this is not the time to do so. After the 18th of February, you will be faced with the things that you've been trying to avoid. And my advice is, do give them the attention that they deserve. Now, if you are a Virgo, hello my dear Virgos, finally we've made it to you. The month is gonna feel like one filled with surprises and money and rewards for you. I mean, February in general is a really good month for most of us. We've got a lot of good aspects. We've got a lot of good surprises coming our way, a lot of unexpected surprises. Now, if you are a Virgo sun or Virgo rising, February is going to be very, very pleasant for you. That is because there are a lot of planetary movements happening in signs that blend very well with the Virgo energy. I'm talking about earth signs and water signs, so the negative signs in astrology. Now, on the 3rd of February, we've got Venus moving into Capricorn. Why is that important? Because Capricorn rules your 5th house of true romantic love. I was about to say true, then I thought of romantic, and sometimes they both go together, sometimes not so much, but there will be either romanticism or actual love coming your way in February, my dear Virgo. If you are single, my advice is go out on dates, because it is very likely that you might just bump into someone who's gonna fall for you, and you might just actually like that person in turn. If you don't wanna get like coupled up in any way, why not enjoy a few rounds of flirting? I mean, it's fun. Why not? And with Venus in your 5th house, you are going to make a marvelous flirt. Secondly, the 5th house is also the house of creativity and artistic endeavors. So this is a month for you to channel your energy, and beautiful things can come out of your hands, possibly, depending on whether you create things with your hands or with your mind. I don't know. But do channel this creative energy. This is a fantastic time for those building things and making things take a new life and shaping new things. So it is a very, very good month overall, February, for artistic endeavors. Now, we've got on the 4th of February not a full moon, not just yet. The full moon is happening, but not on the 4th. It's happening on the 19th. We've got a full moon happening on the 19th of February in your own sign. So on the 19th, before I tell you about the new moon, on the 19th, I would advise you to look after yourself. I would advise you to make sure you get plenty of rest, because you might be exhausted. When we have full moons happening in our own sign, it feels like we are running at 200 kilometers an hour and everyone wants a piece of us, and we just need to pace ourselves. It might also feel like a culmination of who you are at this point in time, and you might look back and say, actually, I've come a very, very long way. And it is also very possible that around the 19th of February, you will overcome a very deep-seated old fear or a crisis that you've been going through in the past few years. And you'll finally feel like, yes, I can handle this. Yes, I can move past this. Yes, I've come out of the woodwork. It is time for me to be this new person that I've been trying to be all along. But going back to the 4th of February, that is when you have a new moon in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius governs your 6th house of day-to-day work and health. New moons bring with them new beginnings. It is very possible that you are going to start a new job. It is very possible that if you're not going to start a new job, you will be asked to embark upon a new project, and your expertise will be needed to kick off a new endeavor. It is also very possible that you are going to decide to change your lifestyle and take up a healthier lifestyle. A lifestyle that is more focused on you and your own well-being rather than just serving others and making sure everyone else is tended to and cared for. This is a time for you to look after yourself and look after your own well-being. And if you've been dealing with, I don't know, wellness demons such as exhaustion, stress, like all of us, the new moon is likely going to inspire you to try out something new when it comes to how you approach your routine and your lifestyle in general. So make the most of it, because this is going to have an impact upon your health and well-being for the next 12 months until we have another new moon in your health and well-being sector. Last but not least, on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, we've got Mars, the planet of passion, moving into your 9th house, your sector of long distance travel, society, exploration, higher education. I mean, this can bring with it a variety of scenarios. One would be traveling, going away with a loved one on a very passionate journey, romantic journey. Taurus is a sign that is that belongs to the earth element, and therefore it gets along very well with Virgo. So if you can travel with a partner, by all means go for it and do it, because you are going to enjoy the trip in a very sensual sense of the word. Let's not forget Taurus is the most sensual sign of the zodiac because it actually governs the senses, guys. That's why I'm saying it's the most sensual. It is also very possible that from the 14th of February onwards, for the next month and a half, you might decide to take on a new course and learn something new and explore a new topic. It is also a time when you might take exams at university and spend a lot of time learning and revisiting the knowledge that you've amassed, and then testing yourself. And let's not forget, Mars is the most competitive planet out there. I mean, it rules war and therefore competitions. So you might actually test your knowledge against the knowledge of other people. Last but not least, I want to say one more thing. From the 18th of February onwards, we've got the Sun, Mercury, and Neptune in your 7th house of committed partnerships and relationships. So from the 18th of February onwards, the focus is shifting from your day-to-day work after like the 4th of February, from going out and having fun and flirting when Venus enters Capricorn. Things from the 18th of February actually shift towards making the most of the relationship that you've set up with a significant other. You're going to give it a lot more thought, you're going to pay a lot more attention to it, and it's going to demand a lot more of your time. But fret not, you've got the support of Saturn to make things last. So all the effort that you're going to be putting into your committed relationship, all the trials and tribulations that you might go through, all the attention that it's demanding from you, it's actually for the better, I would say, and it's actually going to have a very long-term impact because we've got Saturn, the planet of long-term effects, involved. So even though it might feel like work, it is work done for a good cause. Now, let us move on to Libra. So, my dear Libras, there's a lot of air energy that you will enjoy the hell out of throughout February. And may I just say, February, the most romantic month of the year, with like Valentine's Day around the corner. Oh, or maybe we don't believe in this capitalist stuff and these like capitalist holidays, but there's a nugget of truth to it romantically in February 2019 for you, my dear Libra. So we've got a new moon happening in Aquarius in your 5th house of romantic love. And this new moon is also receiving fantastic, beautiful beams from Mars and Jupiter. This is the stuff of dreams. So this is the best time to couple up, and this is like a time around which you're likely to find someone who you will fall for, or someone who's going to fall for you if you're single. If you are not single, if you are committed, then your love is just going to go through the roof, and it will feel like one of the most romantic periods of the year. It's also a fantastic time to enjoy yourself, because the 5th house is the house of play. It is the house where we are still children. And it is also a very creative time. So if you work in the creative industries, if you have some sort of hobby that involves creativity, a new beginning is on the horizon for you, and it is happening on the 4th of February. And if you're trying to conceive, because I know some of my Libra friends are, then you might get that news, that good news that you are waiting for around the 4th of February. If you don't get it around the 4th of February, then at least have sex around the 4th of February, because it is a fantastic time for you, my dear Libras, to conceive, have kids. If you don't want to have kids, create things, because you're going to be surprised at what comes out of your hands. And it is also a good time to like take up a new creative hobby in general. Now, on the 19th, we've got a full moon happening in Virgo, which is happening for you, Libras, especially Libra rising, in your 12th house of spirituality, retreat, privacy, past lives. If you've been like very energetic and very enthusiastic for most of February, there's actually like super good news for you. Mars is moving out of your partnership sector. It's been in your 7th house, Libras, and you might have had like feisty arguments throughout January with your significant other. So this is all gonna end on the 14th of February. Arguments can always turn into like mad lovemaking, just saying. There's always like a good side to things, but all in all, it might have felt that your partner was a lot more belligerent, or maybe you were perceived as being a lot more aggressive, my dear Libra, in January by your significant other. So you're gonna be like relieved to hear that Mars is moving away from your partnership sector on the 14th of February. Now, on the 19th, though, things are coming to a culmination when it comes to spirituality and karma and the things that you feel like you have to sacrifice or that you have to give to the world, and maybe like the debts that you have to pay to the world. If you are involved in spiritual matters, the 19th of February is going to feel like a culmination, and it might turn into a full-on revelation for you spiritually. You're going to see that actually the ego doesn't matter that much, and we should be willing to dissolve it, and we are going to understand that we need to surrender to the will of the universe. I don't know why I'm saying we, because I've got like 0 Libra planets in my natal chart. So I'm talking to you, my dear Libra sun and rising friends. It is also a time when you might feel like you need to pull yourself out of social situations and go deeper, possibly meditate, possibly like have talks with yourself, and see what it is that your soul is trying to tell you, what it is that your soul is trying to make you understand, and what is trying to come out of the unconscious realm and into the conscious realm. So a good time to try to like assess the thoughts that are going through your head, try to assess the perceptions that you are feeling and the emotions that come to the fore, because you might find yourself going through like a full-on breakthrough spiritually. Now, my dear Scorpios, you've got a full month ahead of you. So on the 4th of February, we've got a new moon happening in your 4th house of home and family. So this is the perfect time for you to like choose consciously. Now you know, I've told you about it. This is the best time for you to move if you've been planning to move houses. If you've been planning to like buy a house, a fantastic time to buy a house. A great time to mend relationships with your family. A great time to renew the relationship with your family and the ones that are close to you, and take a deeper and more meaningful look at what family and childhood and past and history means to you. I also have to say that I see money coming your way, and you're probably going to be very happy about it. You might sell a land, you might sell real estate, you might sell a home. And the money that comes your way is significant because we've got Jupiter involved, and Jupiter tends to inflate things, and Jupiter is in your 2nd house of earned income. So if you are planning to sell that property, just negotiate as much as you can and try to get the best price possible, because you're very likely going to get it. Now, this new moon is receiving, apart from receiving beautiful, beautiful beams from Jupiter, it's also receiving beautiful beams from Mars. So what I'm thinking is the money that you do get and the valuable income that is going to make its way to you. Because at this stage, you're either like buying a house, or you're selling a house, or your family's giving you money, or there's like some sort of like valuable resource that's being passed your way through your home. It feels like this is going to have a very positive impact on your overall health and sense of well-being. So not to play this up too much, but it's a very powerful time, my dear Scorpio. Now, on the 3rd of February, we've got Venus moving into Capricorn. Venus is, after all, the little benefic, and Capricorn is a sign that goes very, very well with yours. Would be a fantastic time for the duration of January. It is a fantastic time for you to network. It is a fantastic time for you to meet new people. I know how skeptical and how reluctant you might be of all these things, but you're going to be surprised at how much you enjoy these social situations a lot more than you were maybe like used to enjoying them. Now, on the 14th of February, we've got Mars moving into Taurus. Taurus is the sign that is opposite you, so it is governing your committed relationships, your marriage, your long-term partnerships. Mars is always a double-edged sword, so the most obvious outcome that might occur after Mars enters your 7th house in Taurus, you might actually feel the need to argue a bit more with your partner, or it might feel like they are being a lot more belligerent than they are in general, so you might clash a lot more with your partner. But on the other hand, Mars is also the planet of passion, so there's always two sides to a coin. If you can channel that passion, and if you can use it in a very physical way, rather than like constantly arguing and butting heads, because you're both fixed signs at the end of the day, both Scorpio and Taurus, which is opposing you. It's not gonna get to like a resolution if you're like constantly butting heads, so you might try to find an alternative way to, let's say, diffuse that tension. And last but not least, on the 19th of February, we've got a full moon happening in Virgo, which is your house of friends and friendships and ideals and dreams and long-term objectives. And let me tell you this, my dear Scorpio, it will feel like you've finally put your finger on what it is that you're trying to do, what it is that you're trying to achieve, what is your objective for the next of the year, and you might actually see like the first phase of your objective and long-term plan and long-term goal materialize. But what you're very likely going to get out of this full moon is the next steps as to what you need to do in order to make that dream a reality. Now, let us move on to Sagittarius. My lovely Sagittarians. I mean, you are blessed in general. You've also got Jupiter transiting your sign until December this year. So all in all, most things that you embark upon this year are going to turn out beautifully because you are protected. I've got more good news for you. It's the nature of things. On the 3rd of February, we've got Venus moving into your house of earned income and the money that you make and personal values and possessions. So expect a surge in capital, expect a surge in income, and please use that income wisely. Don't squander it. Don't expect it to like always keep on coming your way. After all, Capricorn is a sign that is very good at managing resources, at saving money, at thinking long term. So maybe you should you should read a page from Capricorn's book and apply that to your finances. But all in all, money is coming your way, so it is what it is. Expect it around the 3rd of January and decide what you're gonna do with it. Now, on the 4th of February, we've got arguably one of the best days of the year for you, maybe. Let's put it that way. We've got a new moon in your 3rd house of communication, of learning, and siblings. And the 3rd house is also the house of news. So the news that you receive now are likely going to be news that are going to make you very happy for a long period of time. We've also got beautiful beams from the 5th house from Mars aspecting the new moon. So the news might be related to your love life or to your creative artistic endeavors that you are involved in. And the news might also be related to new opportunities for entertainment. And everything is going to go very well, like, with you. Let me tell you this. If anything, it's going to reinforce your belief that you are protected, you are lucky, and the universe is looking after you. And it's true. It is looking after you for the most part. Now, we've also got a few more important dates in February, I would say. We've got, first of all, on the 14th, we've got Mars moving from Aries to Taurus. Taurus is your 6th house of day-to-day work and health. You might hit the gym more often for the next month and a half from the 14th of February onwards. You might have a lot more energy than you've had recently to spend on work and on health-related issues. You might also like plow through the huge heap of like tasks on your to-do lists because you've got this like surge in energy. But be very careful not to argue with coworkers because that is also a very strong possibility from the 14th of February for a month and a half onwards. Mars is the planet of war, so try to channel that energy productively. Do your job, don't start a war. You should be fine. Now, last but I should say not least, obviously, we've got a full moon happening on the 18th of February in Virgo. Now, Virgo, for you, my dear Sagittarius, governs the... Let me look at the chart. It governs your 10th house. Now, this is a time when you're probably going to get a lot of public attention, either from your bosses, so it can be at work, or who you are in day-to-day life and what is your status and what you stand for might receive a lot of attention. It can also be felt like a career culmination, and it's probably almost like a stepping stone. It's preparing you for what's to come. Now, all in all, you are likely going to enjoy the attention. Be very, very careful though, because a full moon in the 10th house is opposing the sun. And your family or those close to you or your home might actually have a little bit of suffering to do at the expense of your career and your profession. So be very careful how you manage to balance the energy and the time that you spend on both wisely. Now let us move on to Capricorn. So my dear Capricorns, on the 3rd of February, you've got Venus entering your sign, and all of a sudden, it will feel like all eyes are on you, especially for those with Capricorn rising. You might feel a lot more appreciated physically for who you are. You might feel a lot more liked, if I may say so. And it's not gonna feel bad. It's gonna feel really good. I know you don't like the attention because you're Capricorns after all. But do take the time to enjoy it. And if you're single, do take the time to go out, because you are going to be very likable and very likely to attract partners if you are on the lookout for partners. But all in all, try to use this period of time as much as possible to get exposure for yourself, because whatever you say and whatever you do, it's likely going to be received very, very, very well by people with Venus in your 1st house. Now on the 4th of February, you're going to love this day, Capricorns. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. We have a fantastic new moon happening in your house of money, in your house of earned income, and a new source of income is likely going to show itself to you. This might be a very good time to ask for a raise if you've thought about getting one. And the good part about it is that it will feel like someone's been looking after you from the shadows, and someone's been having your back from the shadows, and someone's been having your best interests at heart. So finally, you might see that actually you're not alone in the world, and even though you are the epitome of self-sufficiency, you are receiving universal support, and you are receiving rewards that you might have earned in this life or maybe in a past life, and they will transform themselves into material, tangible resources for you. So all in all, new moon, new beginning, money-wise, you're gonna love it. New influx of money, new source of income. Make the most of it, Capricorns. Ask for that raise, chase that job, and it's gonna be yours. Now, we've also got on the 14th of February, we've got Mars moving from Aries, which was governing your 4th house of home and family, and it might have felt like you've been arguing quite a bit with your family lately. It's going to be moving into your 5th house, and you're going to love this energy because it's going to push you to go out and have fun. It's going to push you to attend parties, enjoy yourself. I know it's not something that you do very often, my dear Capricorn, but it's not all about work and status in this life. I'm kidding. I'm only messing with you. I've got a Capricorn moon. I cannot ever make fun of Capricorns. I know all too well the pressures. But from the 14th of February onwards, live a little, enjoy life, make love, find a new lover, occupy your time with creative endeavors, because all of these are actually 5th house matters, and you'll have energy for all of them, and you'll have drive and motivation for all of them. This is not going to last forever. It's going to last for a month and a half, so you might as well make the most of it. It is a fantastic time to meet someone new. Like I said, if you're single, it is a fantastic time to have awesome sex, and also a fantastic time to spend that energy on that creative hobby of yours. Now, last but not least, we've got a full moon happening on the 19th of February in Virgo. Virgo, for you, my dear Capricorn, is the governor of I'm counting. It's the ninth house, so you might be receiving news related to a journey that you've been planning. You might be receiving news, or you might see like a culmination that is related to higher education, or maybe like a course you were attending, or if you were going to uni, you might receive like the results of your final exams. Let me know how that is going to turn out for you. All in all, what you do get out of the full moon in Virgo is likely going to feel like the end of a chapter in any of these areas, such as long-term education, higher education in particular, university, academia, exploration, using the mind, or just like using your physical body and traveling. Also, courts and litigation. So if you've been involved in a trial of any sort, you might finally receive the news around the 19th of February. And it's likely not going to be the end. It will come with next steps in it, but at least you're seeing like the end of a phase, the end of a stage. Now let us move on to Aquarius. My dear Aquarians, oh my God, you are the stars of the zodiac throughout most of the month. Why do I say you? We are the stars of the zodiac throughout the rest of the month until the sun moves into Pisces and we are left behind. But let's enjoy our time. So first of all, we've got on the 4th of February, a new moon happening in our first house. The house of personality, the house of how other people see us and how they perceive us, the house of physical body, the house of identity. What does that mean? So my dear Aquarians, we are virtually the stars of February. That is because we have on the 4th of February a new moon happening in our own sign. So this new moon, which is going to bring about a new beginning, as all new moons do, a new phase, a new stage to go through throughout the rest of the year, but the roots are being set and the foundation is being set around the 4th of February. This new moon is going to receive beautiful beams from Jupiter, which is currently placed in our 11th house of dreams and friends and long-term objectives. And it's also going to receive beautiful beams from Mars. Sorry about that. It's also going to receive beautiful beams from Mars, which is placed in our 3rd house of communication, learning, and siblings. Now, with the new moon happening in the 1st house, that is likely going to be felt like we are born anew. I don't want to be dramatic about it, because after all, I'm an Aquarius, but it will feel like our identity is being reborn. We are resurrected. We are born from the ashes. We are going to see ourselves differently, and the world is going to perceive us differently. This is the time, if you've ever had like an idea in your head of how you want it to be seen by the world and how you want it to be perceived by the world, this is the time to channel that idea and also channel your long-term objectives and express that through the way you dress, through the way you talk, through the way you present yourself, through the way you expose your ideas. And let me tell you this, when Jupiter is involved, it always brings good luck with it. Most of the times. No, always. Scratch that. Always. To some people, it might feel like we have like a new inflated sense of who we are. But actually what it is that we are finally coming to grips with the fact that we have evolved. We are not where we used to be last year or like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And it's finally clicking with us. It's like the light is being turned on in our heads. It's like, I'm this new person and I'm going to act like the new person that I am. So all super good news, my lovely Aquarian friends and siblings. Now, we've also got a few more things happening apart from the new moon, which is like the highlight of February. I cannot contain my excitement. We've got Mars moving into our house of home and family. Mars is moving into Taurus on the 14th of February, and it might feel like we have a lot more energy that we need to spend and a lot more effort that needs to be put into home-related issues. So this is a time to like renovate the house, or like buy a new property, or like look after the paperwork. By all means, please do not expend this energy on fighting with your family, because that is also very likely. Please, please, please focus on using it constructively. The home will require your attention though, or your family will require your attention. Now, on the 18th of February, we've got the sun moving into our earned income sector. So the spotlight is going to be on money and the money that we make. And this is a good time to review our expenditures, review our saving habits, review our budget, maybe put together like a whole new budget, and make a plan for how we are going to spend our money for the rest of the year almost. It's a good time to think about things and to analyze them objectively, because we've also got, apart from having the sun there, we've also got Mercury, the planet of thought, of logical thought nonetheless, in the second house of earned income. And last but not least, we've also got Neptune there, which might have created some hazy situation, money related. It might have felt like money's been vanishing or like slipping through our fingers for the past few years. But this is a good time to like act in a conscious way regarding our income and budget properly, and think of how we are going to use these resources that are being handed to us, or let's say that we work very, very hard for, because nothing is being handed to us. Now, last but not least, we've got a full moon happening on the 19th of February in our house of other people's money, sex, secrets, crisis, all the good stuff. Now, the good part about it is, so full moons can bring with them crisis in general, because they represent a culmination, and we might have like a crisis related to other people's resources, other people's money, and the resources that we need to share with others. But I would say that it's very likely that we are going to go past this full moon and extract from it next steps and the actions that we need to take in order to look after the crisis that we've just gone through, because Mars is beautifully aspecting the full moon. So even though there will be a culmination and it is likely going to rattle ourselves on a psychological level, it might make us like face a fear, but ultimately it's going to motivate us to move in a specific direction in that particular area, because Mars brings with it motivation and the drive to survive. So a good thing will come out of a potential crisis. Now, my dear Pisces, we've finally made it to you. I know how annoying it is to like have to wait, because you're like at the end of the zodiac circle. But I promise you, February is worth waiting for. Now, first of all, on the 4th of February, we've got that beautiful, beautiful new moon that I've been mentioning to everyone happening in Aquarius. Aquarius rules your 12th house. The 12th house is a house of retreat and spirituality and past lives, our subconscious, our dreams. It might feel like your sense of spirituality is being renewed altogether, and you might actually be inclined to seek out a more optimistic and a more positive belief system, or like system of reference, something that you can rely on, something that can prop you up, and something that can help you live your life in a more, let's say, conscious way, and in a more thoughtful way, and in a way that is taking into account the larger universe that is conspiring, after all, to make things happen for us. It is a good time to meditate. It is a good time to spend time alone, because enlightenment is likely to come your way, and it will be of the positive kind. you are not gonna dig deep into your soul and find out rattling things. On the contrary, you're gonna dig deep and you're likely gonna find things that are going to imbue you with renewed faith. Now, that's happening on the 4th. On the 3rd, we've got Venus moving into your 11th house. The 11th house governs friends and friendships, but it also governs objectives. And with Venus transiting the house of objectives and friends, we have a few possible outcomes. First of all, you are going to feel very loved and very nurtured and very supported by your friends throughout the entire month of February, and you're gonna feel like super lucky to have these people as your friends. But you might also feel that you are one step closer to fulfilling your objectives and fulfilling your dreams, and like the universe is pushing you in the direction that you are meant to be walking, in order to make these dreams a reality, to help them materialize. Now, on the 19th of February, we've got a full moon happening in your 7th house of partnerships, marriage, and committed relationships. This can translate, for those of you who are single, in finally meeting someone that you are willing to spend the rest of your life with. But let's face it, it's more likely going to translate into you having like an enlightenment regarding what it is that you are expecting from a partner. It can culminate with the pinnacle of a relationship, so maybe like moving on to the next step, such as marriage proposal, moving in together, deciding to open a joint bank account, deciding to have a child. So it is the culmination of a relationship after all. Like I said, that is likely to happen, especially if you are in a couple. If you're not in a couple, then you might finally have a revelation regarding what it is that you expect from a significant other. Now, a day before that, you've got the sun moving into your own sign, and you are benefiting from a stellium in your own sign, my dear Pisces. You've got Neptune there making you super imaginative and super creative for the next few years, and it's been like this for quite a while. It might have also made you very, very hard to understand for other people, let's face it, because they can't see past the haze of Neptune. And you've also got Mercury in your 1st house. So all in all, it will feel like the spotlight is on you from the 18th of February onwards, and everything is revolving around you. Everyone is asking you for your opinion. Everyone wants a piece of your mind. Everyone wants to spend time with you, and do enjoy that period, even though your first instinct might be to retreat because you do not want anyone sucking the energy out of you. But I would say it's a good time to recharge your batteries and to channel energy from other people in order to decide what the course that you are likely going to follow throughout the rest of the year is going to be. And you will be able to use that energy from others in a productive way, in a way that is going to help you stick to that course. So, my lovelies, please let me know if you've got any questions related to February. Let me know how your month has been going, and do not forget, there's a Facebook group that you can join. And also, if you're interested in a personalized transits forecast, so to see specifically what the year has in store for you based on your unique natal chart, do get in touch. Thank you for watching, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye!